Hello, it's Gabby here, and I hope this finds you well. This week's podcast, I'm talking about a topic that comes up a lot when I'm talking to women, particularly who've been through cancer treatment, and that is so many times I hear people say, I really miss the person that I used to be. I really miss that carefree woman that I used to be. I loved my own life, and it's never coming back. So what can you do if you feel like that? And again, a lot of what I talk about, yes, my podcast is all about life after cancer, but quite often for midlife women particularly, a lot of these topics will touch a nerve, and I'm here for you if any of this resonates with you. So what can you do if you miss your old life, if you are grieving for that young, carefree, healthy, happy person that you used to be, and you feel like she's never coming back? What can I do? She's gone. It's all gone. Are really the best years of your life behind you? Because I don't believe they are. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on two things that you need to do if you really want to start loving your life again and looking forward to the future, maybe older and wiser, but hopefully loving your life as well, because it's there for you if you want to make a few small changes, I believe. So my story is, after my breast cancer diagnosis, I went through treatment, as many people do. I got out the other side of it, and then I realised how absolutely desolated I was, how depressed I was. And I was grieving. I was grieving for the old person that I used to be, the happy, carefree person who thought that cancer happened to other people, not me. Certainly not me. I'm not a cancer patient. That was not in my world at all. I'd had experience, of course, of family and friends who'd been through cancer, but I really never believed it would touch me. And then it did. And I went through my treatment. I tried to be brave, as we all are, and got through the treatment, got out the other side, and hoped that my life would go back to the way that it was before, but it wasn't. And I absolutely, for a long time, was almost in denial that, this had happened to me. But then I went into a very deep grief and a very period of mourning, really, really missing my old life, feeling very sorry for myself, and realising that after my surgeries, I'd had various surgeries. I'd had a mastectomy, I'd lost a breast. The best years of my life were behind me, I believed, and they were never coming back. And that happy, carefree woman that I used to be, she'd gone, because I was lying awake at night worrying a lot about whether my cancer was going to come back. Had it spread? I've got a little twinge in my back. Is it? I hear about people getting secondary cancer in their spine. Is that me? I hear about people getting secondary cancer, in their brain. I've got a bit of a headache. Is that me? And so those worries and those niggles were always constantly on my mind. And it's taken me a while to work out a plan for looking forward to my life. You may have heard me talking before about this 12-step plan that I've devised. For a while, I was following other people's plans, and I was learning and I was studying and I was doing everything that I could about wellness. It almost became like a full-time job. And then I realised that's not really sustainable. And to be honest, time helps. I'm now a 16-year cancer survivor, and the longer it goes on, God willing, as my nana used to say, the longer that goes on, the easier it gets, really does. But I also want to tell you that it gets easier if you make a decision. And the decision is that you are ready to move on with your life. And I believe the two things that you need to do to move on with your life are, first of all, to start loving your body. And secondly, to start to love your life. And you may say, well, how can I love my body? Whatever problem you've got going on. A lot of people, and I was, after finishing cancer treatment, I'd been on steroids. As I said, had a mastectomy, I had various other surgeries. I wasn't the person that I used to be physically. My energy had gone as well. And physically, I just felt very anxious and embarrassed about the state of my body. I didn't want to get dressed in front of my husband. I really, really struggled with body image for a long time. And then I realised I should not be comparing myself to other people. And we do it all the time, and particularly in these days of social media, and you see these beautiful bodies on screen. But to be honest, they're on screen because they're beautiful, mostly unattainable bodies, ideas of perfection that most people will never attain. But what you can attain is your best healthy body. And I do that now. I'm very conscious of the fact, I'm never going to be a model size 10 or whatever. But what I can be is the healthiest that I can be. And I can respect my body. I can love my body. And I can thank it for looking after me, for getting me up in the morning, for getting me up the stairs, for allowing me to go out walking, for allowing me to do everything that I do. I'm so grateful for my body. And, touch wood, I'm 16 years on now. My cancer is still not come back. and I'm doing everything that I can. But part of that is having a healthy respect for my body. And I am no way perfect in this at all. I like a drink, I like cake, I like the odd treat, but it is the odd treats. It's not every day. Most days I'm doing things that my future self will be thankful for. I'm eating a good, nutritious diet. I'm moving my body every day. It doesn't have to be, hours in the gym. It can be simply having a little dance around the kitchen. It can be just doing some squats while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. It can just be, for me, going for a walk in my local park, getting some fresh air. But it's moving my body, loving my body, respecting my body, taking time to nurture it, taking time to use some nice body bath bubbles or some nice body creams, going for a regular massage, all the things that you can do quite easily to love your body and love yourself. And the second thing I said was, what helped me is to start to love my life and to be so grateful for what I've got. And my life is not perfect. There's a lot of issues that I'd like to sort out, but mostly I'm so grateful. And there is some good in every day. And I make it a practice now to focus on the good in every day, to be very, very grateful for what I've got. My life isn't perfect. I'm not pretending that it is. But I really want to say to you that you can make this decision to start loving your body. You can make this decision to start loving your life. And you can decide to be the hero of your own story. Because I've got some good news and some bad news if you're feeling down after cancer surgery or after cancer treatment. And that is, nobody else is going to come and save you. Your doctors, if it's anything like me, your doctors are done now. They've done their job. They've got rid of the cancer. And pretty much I felt on my own. But the good news is that no one's coming to save you, but you can save yourself. You really can become the hero of your own story. So I would urge you to get a plan for your life, whatever life you have left, whether we've got a day, a week, a year, 10 years, 20 years, who knows? No, none of us know. But why not make a decision that you are going to make the rest of your life, the best of your life, be the happiest, healthiest that you can be. And as I've said before, I went about that by studying what other people are doing. And it took me quite a while to develop my own plan. My plan is not an onerous, you need to be in the gym for hours and hours every day and you're eating nothing but kale. Okay. My life is for living and I enjoy my life. But what I do have is a 12-step program, a 12-step plan. And all of these 12 steps take less than 20 minutes, all of them, to work through modules on what are essential nutrients that you should be eating, that you need to get into your diet after a cancer diagnosis. How can you manage stress? What hormones do you need to be conscious of if you are struggling with weight loss? Quite often for midlife women as well, that's hormonal. And there's lots of simple hacks that you can use that I can share with you that will tell you, teach your body actually how to respond in a different way by using the power of hormones. So again, it's not about going on calorie restrictive diets, because I don't believe in that. I really believe in sorting out your hormones in various ways, with your food, with movement, with other little techniques that you can use, but also just getting more goodness into your diet. So I'm not into cutting out food that you love. I'm actually always suggesting to people, just add in more goodness, things that you enjoy. Don't be drinking a kale smoothie if you hate kale. That's not what it's about. It's not about punishing yourself. But there is a huge link between food and mood, and I cover that in my course as well. I cover how to get good sleep, because once you start using your circadian rhythms, the power of your body, when your body is sleeping, and I mean proper sleep, not maybe the kind of sleep that you have after a bottle of wine, but deep natural sleep. When you get into that rhythm, your body is restoring itself. You're renewing your energy. And that is such a beautiful feeling, to wake up refreshed and energized after you've had a really good night's sleep. Talks about movement and about the importance of self-care. I cover that as well. And about relationships. And I've learned a lot about relationships, about setting boundaries for myself and for others. And the crazy news about that is, when you start to change that, some people might not like it. But the most important thing is that you like yourself. You like that person that you look at in the mirror. You respect yourself. And as I said before, you love yourself and you love your life. That is the most important thing. None of us survived cancer to get through to be miserable. We all deserve to be happy. You deserve it. I know you do. If you're listening to this and you're interested in improving your life, you deserve to be happy. So why not give yourself permission to be happy? Why not decide you are going to be the hero of your own life? You're going to learn to love your body and you're going to learn to love your life. And if you want any help with anything that I've just talked about, you know where I am. So get in touch, ping me a message, click on my website, and I'd love to hear from you. And let me know if you've got any questions or anything you'd like me to cover in a future podcast, because I love to hear from you and it really helps me to get feedback from other people. You're not alone. You're not going crazy. Well, you're no crazier than I am. And as always, I would say to you, stay safe and stay sane and have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me. Take care, my darling. Bye-bye.